Welcome, fellow travelers, to an extraordinary journey through Southeast Asia's most incredible hidden treasures. Today, we're embarking on an adventure that will take us far beyond the typical tourist trails, deep into the heart of places so beautiful, so untouched, that they seem almost imaginary. These are the secret corners of Southeast Asia, where nature displays its most magnificent artistry, where ancient cultures thrive in harmony with breathtaking landscapes, and where every moment feels like stepping into a dream. This isn't just another travel video. This is an invitation to discover the undiscovered. To witness unwitnessed, to experience the raw, authentic beauty that makes Southeast Asia one of the world's most captivating regions. From emerald valleys, hidden between towering peaks, to crystal-clear lagoons, accessible only by arduous journeys. From forgotten temples swallowed by jungle to pristine beaches where your footprints might be the only ones in the sand. Are you ready to have your perception of Southeast Asia completely transformed? Are you prepared to add dozens of new destinations to your bucket list? Then take a deep breath, open your mind to wonder, and join me as we unveil the unreal hidden places of Southeast Asia that you won't believe actually exist. Let's begin this incredible adventure together. Tumpak Sewu Waterfall, East Java, Indonesia. Deep within the rugged mountains of East Java, far from the island's busy cities and popular tourist beaches, lies one of Indonesia's most spectacular natural wonders. Tumpak Sewu, which translates to 1,000 waterfalls in the Javanese language, is a breathtaking cascade that lives up to its poetic name in the most dramatic way imaginable. The waterfall drops approximately 390 feet down a semicircular cliff face. But what makes it truly extraordinary is that it's not a single waterfall at all. Instead, countless individual streams pour over the curved rock wall simultaneously, creating a curtain of water that stretches nearly 650 feet wide. The effect is absolutely mesmerizing, like watching nature's own grand fountain display on an impossible scale. The main cascade plunges with tremendous power into a turquoise pool far below, sending up clouds of mist that catch the sunlight and create perpetual rainbows. Meanwhile, dozens of smaller streams trace delicate paths down the moss-covered cliffs, each one adding its voice to the thunderous symphony of falling water. Standing before Tumpak Sewu, you feel simultaneously tiny and privileged, humbled by nature's power, yet honored to bow. Witness such beauty. Getting to this hidden paradise requires real commitment and a spirit of adventure. The journey begins with a drive through small villages and coffee plantations, followed by a steep descent down hundreds of stairs carved into the cliff face. The path is challenging, sometimes slippery, and definitely not for those afraid of heights. You'll cross bamboo bridges suspended over rushing streams, wade through knee-deep water, and scramble over boulders worn smooth by centuries of flowing water. But every challenging step is worth it. As you descend deeper into the gorge, the sound of the waterfall grows, from a distant rumble to a deafening roar. The air becomes cooler and filled with mist. Tropical vegetation thrives in this perpetually damp environment, with ferns the size of trees and vines hanging like natural curtains. Birds flit through the spray, and if you're lucky, you might spot monkeys watching curiously from the surrounding forest. The area surrounding Tumpak Sewu remains remarkably undeveloped, a testament to its remote location. Unlike many of Indonesia's famous waterfalls that have been transformed into manicured tourist parks, this remains raw and wild. There are no guardrails, no paved paths, no souvenir shops, just you, the waterfall, and the overwhelming power of nature. The best time to visit is during the dry season, from April to October. When the water runs clear and turquoise, and the paths are less treacherous. During the rainy season, the waterfall becomes even more powerful. Paths can be dangerously slippery, and the water too murky to appreciate its full beauty. Early morning visits offer the best light, with the sun illuminating the mist and creating magical atmospheric effects. Local farmers still cultivate coffee and vegetables on the surrounding hillsides, maintaining traditional agricultural practices that have been passed down through generations. Their small villages offer authentic glimpses into rural Javanese life, far removed from the modern tourism industry. Many locals supplement their farming income by serving as guides, and their knowledge of the terrain and the waterfall's moods is invaluable. The waterfall sits in the shadow of Mount Semeru, Java's highest peak and one of Indonesia's most active volcanoes. This dramatic backdrop adds another layer of grandeur to an already spectacular scene. When volcanic clouds drift across the horizon, framing the waterfall with their dark, ominous beauty, the entire landscape takes on an otherworldly quality that photographers dream about. Guangxi Falls, Laos. Just outside the UNESCO World Heritage City of Luang Prabang in northern Laos, a series of turquoise pools cascade down limestone formations in what can only be described as nature's perfect water park. Guangxi Falls demonstrates nature's incredible ability to craft beauty from geology, creating one of Southeast Asia's most photographed yet still remarkably peaceful natural attractions. The main waterfall plunges nearly 200 feet over travertine formations that have been building up over millennia. The water here is rich with dissolved minerals, particularly calcium carbonate, which continuously deposits on the rocks and vegetation, slowly but surely shaping and reshaping the landscape into smooth, flowing curves and terraces. This is the same geological process that creates limestone caves, but here it happens in the open air, visible to anyone who visits. The water's distinctive blue-green color comes from these dissolved minerals, combined with the limestone bedrock filtering the water to crystal clarity. The result is a color that looks almost artificial in photographs, like someone added food coloring to the pools. But stand on the banks of these pools in person, and you'll see that the color is absolutely real and absolutely spectacular. Multiple swimming pools fill the terraced levels below the main cascade, each with its own character and depth. Some are shallow enough for children to wade in safely, while others are deep enough for swimming and cliff jumping. The pools are surrounded by smooth limestone rocks that are comfortable to sit on, making perfect spots to relax, sunbathe, and marvel at the surrounding beauty. The water temperature is cool and refreshing, especially welcome in the heat of the Laotian day. Dense jungle surrounds the entire falls area, providing a lush green backdrop and creating habitat for numerous bird species. The forest canopy provides natural shade over much of the site, keeping the area pleasantly cool. Even during the hottest months, you'll hear the calls of exotic birds mixing with the sound of falling water, while butterflies flutter among the tropical flowers that thrive in the humid environment. A well-maintained network of wooden walkways and bamboo stairs allows visitors to explore different levels and viewing points without damaging the fragile limestone formations. The path winds through the forest, occasionally opening to reveal stunning vistas of the waterfall from different angles. Some viewpoints put you right at the edge of cascades, where you can feel the spray on your face, while others offer panoramic views of the entire complex of falls and pools. At the site's entrance, a bear rescue center provides sanctuary for Asiatic black bears that have been saved from illegal wildlife trade and traditional medicine operations. This conservation facility adds an important educational component to what might otherwise be purely a natural attraction. Visitors can observe these magnificent animals in spacious, forested enclosures that mimic their natural habitat, while learning about the threats facing bears throughout Southeast Asia. The rescue center's presence here serves as a reminder that preserving natural sites like Guangxi Falls isn't just about protecting landscapes. It's about protecting entire ecosystems, and the creatures that depend on them. The Fiver's entry fees to Guangxi Falls help fund the bear rescue operations, making every visit a contribution to conservation efforts. Local Hmong communities live in villages near the falls, maintaining traditional lifestyles centered around rice, farming, and textile production. Their hand-woven fabrics feature intricate geometric patterns in vibrant colors, each design telling stories of Hmong heritage and mythology. Many families have set up small shops near the waterfall entrance, offering their textiles, handicrafts, and traditional Hmong food to visitors. The falls are easily accessible from Luang Prabang, making them a popular day trip destination. However, the site is large enough that even when busy, you can find peaceful corners to enjoy. Arriving early in the morning or later in the afternoon helps avoid the biggest crowds and offers the best light for photography. The morning sun filtering through the trees and illuminating the mist rising from the falls creates particularly magical conditions. During the wet season from June to October, the waterfall swells with increased water flow, becoming even more dramatic and powerful. The dry season from November to May offers clearer, calmer water and easier swimming conditions. Each season offers its own unique beauty, and locals will tell you there's no bad time. Con Đảo Islands, Vietnam. This remote archipelago off the southern coast of Vietnam remained virtually unknown to international travelers until very recently. Con Đảo troubled history as a former prison colony during French colonial rule, and the Vietnam War kept it isolated and off-limits for decades. But this dark past inadvertently preserved what are now some of the most pristine marine and terrestrial ecosystems in all of Vietnam. The island group consists of 16 islands scattered across the South China Sea, with only Con Son Island being inhabited. The main island has a population of just over 7,000 people, mostly concentrated in the small town that shares the island's name. The rest of Con Son, along with all the other islands, remains wild and protected as part of Con Đảo National Park. Crystal clear waters surrounding the islands harbor extensive coral reefs. These reefs support incredible biodiversity, from tiny, colorful reef fish darting among the coral branches to larger pelagic species cruising the deeper waters. But Con Đảo is most famous as one of Vietnam's most important sea turtle nesting sites, with both green and hawksbill turtles returning to these beaches each year to lay their eggs. Watching sea turtles nest is an unforgettable experience, and Con Đảo offers some of the best opportunities in Southeast Asia. During nesting season, from May to October, female turtles emerge from the ocean under cover of darkness, laboriously crawling up the beach to dig their nests and deposit their eggs. Park rangers monitor these events carefully, protecting the turtles from disturbance and marking nests to ensure their protection until the baby turtles hatch and make their own perilous journey to the sea. Con Đảo National Park protects both marine and terrestrial environments across much of the archipelago. The men Parks, forests, shelter. Endemic species found only on these islands, including the Condau long-tailed macaque, a subspecies of monkey that has evolved in isolation here. The forests are dense, with tropical vegetation, filled with the calls of birds and insects, creating hiking opportunities through virtually untouched wilderness. Underwater, the marine park section protects vibrant coral gardens where sea turtles graze on seagrass, manta rays glide through the currents, and reef sharks patrol their territories. Diving and snorkeling here reveals ecosystems largely undisturbed by human activity, offering glimpses of marine life in near-pristine condition. Visibility often exceeds 100 feet, and the diversity of marine species rivals anywhere in Southeast Asia. The island's beaches are extraordinary in their own right. Dam Trao Beach, considered by many to be among Vietnam's most beautiful, stretches for miles without a single resort or commercial development. Pure white sand, backed by casuarina trees that whisper in the sea breeze, with clear blue water. You can walk for an hour on this beach without encountering another person, an increasingly rare experience in modern Southeast Asia. Historical sites from the colonial prison era dot Con Son Island, serving as somber reminders of the past. The Old French Prison, the infamous tiger cages where political prisoners were held, and the graveyards where many prisoners who died are buried, have been preserved as museums and memorials. These structures provide powerful lessons about Vietnam's struggle for independence, while the surrounding nature demonstrates the island's recovery and renewal. The juxtaposition of this dark history with the natural beauty creates a unique character. Where prisoners once suffered in captivity, nature now thrives freely. The old prison buildings, slowly being reclaimed by vegetation, serve as monuments to human cruelty and resilience, while the surrounding pristine beaches and forests represent hope and regeneration. Small fishing communities maintain traditional ways of life throughout the islands. Their wooden boats, painted in bright colors, still head out at dawn, following fishing methods unchanged for generations. The fresh seafood markets that spring to life each afternoon when the catch returns offer incredible variety, from locally caught lobster and crab to exotic reef fish, prepared in traditional Vietnamese styles. Tourism infrastructure on Con Dao remains deliberately limited. There are small hotels and guest houses, a few restaurants and dive shops, but no large resorts or mass tourism facilities. This conscious decision to develop slowly and sustainably helps preserve the island's character while ensuring that tourism benefits local communities without overwhelming the natural environment. The Con Dao Islands represent what much of coastal Southeast Asia looked like before mass tourism transformed the region. Here, nature still dominates. Ancient sea turtles still return to ancestral nesting beaches, and the pace of life remains slow and connected to natural rhythms. It's a rare and precious glimpse of the past, and hopefully, with careful management, a vision of sustainable coastal tourism for the future. Ko Rong, San Luem, Cambodia. This small island off Cambodia's southern coast offers a glimpse of what Southeast Asian islands looked like before development transformed them into resort destinations. Ko Rong San Luem has deliberately maintained its natural character, with local communities and authorities working together to limit construction and preserve the pristine environment that makes the island so special. The island measures only about 4 miles long and 2 miles wide, small enough to explore thoroughly in a few days, yet large enough to find your own private slice of paradise. Despite its compact size, it contains an incredible diversity of beaches, each with its own distinct character and appeal. This variety means every visitor can find their perfect spot, whether they want social beach bars or complete solitude. Saracen Bay, on the island's eastern shore, features a long crescent of pale sand, backed by a handful of small resorts and restaurants. This is the most developed area of the island, though developed is relative. Even here, electricity is limited, Wi-Fi is spotty, and the loudest sounds are waves and palm fronds rustling in the breeze. The Fard Bay's shallow, calm waters make it perfect for swimming and stand-up paddleboarding, with the added benefit of stunning sunrises over the Gulf of Thailand. The western side of the island, known as Sunset Beach, offers a completely different experience. This stretch of coast has even less development, with just a few rustic bungalows tucked into the jungle. As the name suggests, the sunsets here are spectacular, with the sun sinking into the sea in a blaze of orange and pink that reflects off the water and lights up the entire sky. Watching this daily show while lounging in a hammock strung between palms has become a ritual for many visitors. At night, Koh Rong San Loem's waters glow with bioluminescent plankton, creating one of nature's most magical displays. Swimming through these glowing waters feels like moving through liquid stars, as every movement triggers waves of blue-green light. Running your hand through the water leaves a trail of sparkles, while swimming creates an aura of light around your body. This phenomenon occurs worldwide, but Koh Rong San Loem's waters seem particularly rich with these luminous microorganisms. The bioluminescence is best observed on dark, moonless nights, when the lack of ambient light allows the plankton's glow to shine brightest. Many guest houses organize nighttime swimming trips specifically to experience this wonder, paddling out into the bay after dark to float in the glowing water. It's an experience that feels almost spiritual in its beauty, a reminder of the magic that nature can create. The island's interior remains largely forested, with trails leading through jungle thick with tropical plants. These forests provide habitat for monitor lizards that can grow over 6 feet long. Diverse bird species, including kingfishers and hornbills, and countless insects that form the basis of the forest ecosystem. The jungle sounds, chirping, buzzing, calling, create a constant backdrop, particularly noticeable at dawn and dusk, when wildlife is most active. Hiking these trails offers adventure and rewards. Some paths lead to hidden viewpoints overlooking the island and surrounding seas. Others wind through the forest to secluded beaches only accessible on foot. The trails aren't always well marked, and in some places you're essentially bushwhacking. But this adds to the sense of exploration and discovery. No roads connect the island's different settlements, only jungle paths and boat routes. This isolation has protected Koh Rong San Loem from rapid development while maintaining an atmosphere of tranquility that's increasingly rare in Southeast Asia. Getting around means walking, taking a kayak, or hiring a small boat ferry you along the coast. This limitation might seem inconvenient, but it's actually one of the island's greatest assets, ensuring that the peace and quiet remain undisturbed. Solar power provides most of the island's electricity, with many guest houses running generators for just a few hours each evening. This limited power supply actually enhances the island experience, encouraging visitors live according to natural rhythms, rising with the sun, spending days on the beach or exploring, and retiring early under star-filled skies, unpolluted by light from major developments. Fresh water remains precious on the island, collected during rainy season and supplemented by rainwater catchment systems. This scarcity encourages conservation awareness among both residents and visitors, serving as a constant reminder of the island's ecological fragility. Signs in guest houses politely request that guests use water sparingly, and most visitors happily comply, recognizing that they're guests in a delicate environment. The surrounding waters support healthy coral reefs, easily accessible from shore. Snorkeling directly from many beaches reveals colorful fish populations thriving in relatively undisturbed conditions, a testament to Cambodia's emerging marine conservation efforts. Schools of tropical fish, parrotfish, butterflyfish, angelfish graze on the corals and dart among the rocks. Sea cucumbers creep along the sandy bottom, while octopuses hide in crevices, emerging at dusk to hunt. Several dive shops on the island offer trips to more distant reefs and dive sites around the surrounding islands. The waters here offer excellent visibility and diverse marine life, from macro subjects like nudibranchs and seahorses to larger animals like barracuda and occasionally reef sharks. Night dives are particularly popular, revealing the nocturnal reef creatures that hide during the day. Koh Rong San Loem has managed something rare in modern Southeast Asia, maintaining a balance between welcoming tourists and preserving its natural character. The island offers enough amenities to be comfortable, but not so many that it feels commercialized. You can enjoy a cold beer and fresh seafood at beachfront restaurants, but you won't find jet skis, parasailing, or floating bars. It's an island that respects both its visitors and its environment, offering authentic tropical island experiences that are becoming harder to find as development spreads. Sekumpul Waterfall, Bali, Indonesia. Hidden in Bali's northern highlands, far from the beaches and rice terraces that dominate the island's tourist imagery, Sekumpul represents the island's most spectacular waterfall complex. Yet remarkably, even as millions of tourists flood Bali each year, relatively few make the journey to witness this natural wonder. Those who do are rewarded with one of the most impressive waterfall experiences in all of Indonesia. The name Sekumpul means gathering in Balinese. In this remote valley, the main cascade, the tallest and most powerful, plunges nearly 260 feet down a sheer cliff face, surrounded by 6 smaller falls that together create a symphony of rushing water that echoes throughout the valley. The effect is overwhelming in the best possible way. During the rainy season from November to March, the volume increases dramatically, transforming the entire valley into a thundering display of nature's power. The main waterfall becomes a raging torrent, sending up so much spray that you can feel the mist from hundreds of feet away. The smaller falls swell too, and temporary cascades appear where none existed during the dry season. The valley becomes a world of water in motion, constantly changing, endlessly fascinating. Reaching Sekumpul requires commitment and a reasonable level of fitness. The journey begins with a drive through coffee plantations and traditional villages, followed by a descent of several hundred steep steps carved into the hillside. The path is challenging, made more so when wet, and in places you'll need to use handrails or tree roots to steady yourself. You'll cross small streams on makeshift bamboo bridges that bounce with each step, adding a touch of adventure to the trek. But every challenging step is absolutely worthwhile. As you descend deeper into the valley, the sound of the waterfalls grows from a distant rumble to an all-encompassing roar. The air becomes cooler, filled with moisture. Tropical vegetation thrives in this perpetually damp environment, creating a lush green world where ferns grow as large as trees and mosses cover every surface in emerald velvet. The valley floor offers multiple vantage points, each revealing different aspects of the waterfall's beauty. Some spots put you directly at the base of the main cascade, where you can feel the spray on your face and the ground vibrating from the force of falling water. Others provide side views that show how all 7 waterfalls relate each other spatially, revealing the full scope of this natural wonder. Photographers particularly prize the view from across the river, where you can capture the main waterfall with the surrounding jungle in the frame. The pools at the base of the waterfalls glow with an intense emerald green, their color coming from minerals in the water reacting with sunlight filtering through the spray. These pools are deep and cold, perfect for a refreshing swim after the hot, humid hike down. Swimming here, surrounded by roaring waterfalls and tropical jungle, ranks among the most memorable experiences Bali can offer. Rice terraces cascade down the hillsides surrounding the valley, maintained by farmers using irrigation systems that have been refined over centuries. These agricultural landscapes demonstrate Bali's traditional subak system, a UNESCO-recognized method of cooperative water management that dates back over 1,000 years. The terraces not only provide food, but also create a beautiful, layered landscape that changes color with the seasons. Bright green when newly planted, golden yellow at harvest time. Small shrines and offerings dot the area around the waterfalls, reflecting the Balinese Hindu belief that natural features house spiritual forces. Water is particularly sacred in Balinese culture, seen as a purifying force and a pact gift from the gods. Local ceremonies occasionally take place at the waterfall's base, with priests conducting rituals to honor the water spirits believed to reside there. Witnessing one of these ceremonies, with incense, smoke mixing with waterfall spray, and traditional prayers echoing off the canyon walls, provides profound insights into Balinese spiritual life. The region's isolation has preserved traditional village life largely unchanged by Bali's tourism boom. Stone pathways connect small family compounds where multiple generations live together, maintaining centuries-old patterns of life. Families practice traditional crafts like bamboo weaving and coffee processing using methods passed down through generations. Many locals supplement farming income by serving as guides to Sekumpul, and their knowledge of the area's trails, waterfalls, and legends enriches the experience immeasurably. The surrounding area contains several other waterfalls worth exploring, and many guides offer combination tours that visit multiple cascades. Each has its own character, some tall and slender, others wide and powerful, some hidden in caves, others open to the sky. Together, they make northern Bali a paradise for waterfall enthusiasts and adventure seekers. Despite Sekumpul's incredible beauty, it remains relatively uncrowded compared to Bali's famous beaches and temples. This is partly due to its remote location and the challenging hike required to reach it, which naturally filters out casual tourists. But this relative obscurity is one of its greatest assets, allowing visitors to experience one of Bali's natural masterpieces without fighting crowds or waiting for photo opportunities. Ninh Binh, Vietnam. Often called Halong Bay on land, Ninh Binh presents a landscape where limestone casts rise dramatically from emerald rice paddies, creating scenery that seems almost too perfect to be real. This region, located about 60 miles south of Hanoi, offers a more accessible alternative to its famous seaborne counterpart, while maintaining an authentic, less commercialized atmosphere that makes it special in its own right. The Ngo Dong River winds through this extraordinary landscape, creating a natural water route through the towering limestone formations. Traditional sampan boats, rowed uniquely with the feet by local women who have perfected this technique over generations, carry visitors through this surreal terrain. The rowers, often wearing Vietnam's iconic conical hats, propel the boats forward with their feet, while their hands remain free to paddle or pole as needed. It's a remarkable skill that looks effortless but requires years of practice. Tam Kok, meaning 3 caves, describes the journey's highlight, where the river flows through natural tunnels carved through the karst mountains. Inside these passages, stalactites hang from the low ceilings, sometimes just inches above passengers' heads, forcing everyone to duck. The experience of gliding through these dark passages in a small wooden boat, with only pinpricks of light visible ahead and behind, feels like journeying into the earth itself. Then you emerge into daylight again, the sudden brightness momentarily blinding, to find yourself in another valley, even more beautiful than the last. The region's karst formations contain numerous cave systems, some housing ancient temples and shrines that demonstrate how Vietnamese Buddhism incorporated natural features into sacred architecture. Bích Dong Pagoda, built into a mountain face in the 15th century, requires climbing steep stone stairs to reach 3 separate temple levels. Each level offers increasingly spectacular views over the surrounding countryside, while the caves themselves have been transformed into atmospheric religious spaces filled with incense, soft sound of chanting. During harvest seasons, the rice paddies transform into a patchwork of colors. In spring, newly planted rice creates a landscape of brilliant green, reflected in the flooded paddies, with the karsts rising like islands from this verdant sea. By autumn, the ripening rice turns golden, and the entire valley glows in warm tones that seem almost to emit their own light. The sight of these limestone peaks rising from golden or green fields, with boats gliding along the river in the foreground, creates one of Southeast Asia's most photographed landscapes. Yet, remarkably, despite its beauty and accessibility, Ninh Binh remains relatively uncrowded compared to places like Halong Bay. Ancient capital cities once flourished in this region, taking advantage of the natural defenses provided by the karst landscape. Hoa Lu served as Vietnam's capital in the 10th and 11th centuries during the Dinh and early Lê dynasties. The remaining temples and citadels provide fascinating insights into this important period Vietnamese history. Walking through these ancient structures, surrounded by the same dramatic limestone peaks that protected the capital 1,000 years ago, creates a powerful connection to Vietnam's past. Local communities continue traditional farming practices largely unchanged for centuries. Water buffalo still plow paddies, their patient strength supplementing human labor just as it has for generations. Farmers plant rice by hand, working in coordinated groups that move across the paddies in practiced rhythms. At harvest time, the entire community participates in cutting, bundling, and threshing the rice, maintaining patterns of cooperative labor that bind villages together. The region's quiet roads make it ideal for exploration by bicycle, pedaling along narrow paths between rice paddies, crossing small bridges over irrigation canals, and passing through traditional villages offers intimate glimpses of rural Vietnamese life. Children wave from doorways, farmers pause in their work to smile and call out greetings, and water buffalo regard you with patient curiosity before returning to their wallowing. This slow-paced exploration creates connections and discoveries impossible from inside a car or tour bus. Ninh Binh's cuisine reflects its agricultural abundance and position between Vietnam's northern mountains and active southern plains. Local specialties include goat meat prepared in various ways, crispy rice crackers topped with meat and herbs, and freshwater eel dishes. Small restaurants along the river serve these regional dishes family-style, with multiple small plates shared at communal tables, creating opportunities to meet other travelers, exchange stories. The region also produces excellent rice wine, made using traditional fermentation methods. Many villages have small distilleries where you can observe the production process and sample the results. The wine ranges from mild to extremely potent, and locals will proudly explain the nuances of different vintages and production methods. As you explore Ninh Binh, you'll constantly find yourself stopping to simply stare at the landscape, unable to quite believe what you're seeing is real. The combination of limestone casts, rice paddies, rivers, and traditional villages creates scenes that look like they've been painted or digitally enhanced. But it's all absolutely real, all accessible, and all waiting to be explored by travelers willing to venture slightly off Vietnam's most beaten paths. Dawei Peninsula, Myanmar. Myanmar's southern Tanan Thari region contains some of Southeast Asia's last truly undiscovered coastline. The Dawei Peninsula, jutting out into the Andaman Sea, offers pristine beaches, dense jungle, and island-dotted seas that have remained almost entirely free from tourism development. This is Southeast Asian paradise, as it existed decades ago, before resorts and development transformed most coastal regions. Maung Magan Beach stretches for several miles of pure white sand, backed by coconut palms swaying in the sea breeze. The beach sees so few visitors that it's entirely possible to walk its entire length without encountering another person, leaving only your footprints in the sand. The water is warm and clear, perfect for swimming, and the waves are generally gentle enough for children. It's the kind of beach that people fantasize about. Absolutely beautiful and essentially deserted. Behind the beach, the coastal forest remains intact, providing habitat for wildlife and creating a buffer between the ocean and inland areas. Morning walks along the beach often reveal tracks left by nocturnal animals that came down to the water's edge overnight. Deer, wild pigs, and occasionally even leopards, though these shy cats are rarely seen. Offshore, a scattered archipelago of hundreds of islands creates a marine playground, largely unexplored by outsiders. Many islands remain unnamed on maps, and some have likely never been visited by anyone except traditional Moken Sea nomad communities. These islands range from tiny rocks, barely large enough for a single tree, to substantial land masses with beaches, forests, and freshwater sources. Together, they create a boating and island-hopping paradise just waiting to be discovered. The Moken, sometimes called sea gypsies, are one of the region's most fascinating indigenous groups. They've maintained semi-nomadic maritime lifestyles for centuries, living on boats or in stilt houses, deriving their entire livelihood from the sea. The Moken possess extraordinary knowledge of tides, currents, weather patterns, and marine life passed down through oral traditions. Their ability to free dive to remarkable depths, hold their breath for minutes at a time, and hunt fish using simple spears demonstrates skills honed over generations of living in complete harmony with the ocean. Unfortunately, the Moken way of life faces serious threats from modernization. Government policies that restrict their traditional mobility and declining fish stocks. Meeting Moken communities and learning about their culture provides not only fascinating insights, but also supports their efforts to maintain traditional practices and gain recognition for their rights and knowledge. The peninsula's interior contains rainforests as pristine as any in Southeast Asia. These forests harbor incredible biodiversity, including endemic bird species found nowhere else on Earth. Several varieties of hornbills, with their distinctive calls and massive curved beaks, inhabit the canopy. Sunbirds flash iridescent plumage as they dart among flowers, and patient observers might spot rare species like the Gurney's pitter, a brilliantly colored, ground-dwelling bird that was thought extinct until rediscovered in this region. Among mammals, the forests shelter rare and endangered species, including Malayan tapirs with their distinctive black and white coloring, clouded leopards with the longest canine teeth relative to body size of any cat, and various species of gibbons, whose haunting songs echo through the forest at dawn. These animals face serious conservation challenges from habitat loss and poaching, making the peninsula's protected areas crucially important for their survival. Rivers flowing from jungle-covered mountains create spectacular waterfalls and swimming holes accessible only by hiking through dense vegetation. These remote locations remain known primarily to local Karen and Burmese communities who have lived in harmony with these forests for countless generations. Their knowledge of forest paths, medicinal plants, and seasonal patterns makes them invaluable guides for anyone wishing to explore deeper into the wilderness. Traditional fishing villages line the coast, their economies based entirely on sustainable, small-scale fishing practices unchanged for centuries. Wooden, long-tail boats painted in bright colors dot the shoreline, pulled up on beaches or anchored in protected bays. Each morning before dawn, these boats head out to sea, their crews casting nets or setting lines in traditional fishing grounds. By afternoon, they return, and the catch is divided among village families or sold at simple fish markets where prices are negotiated in rapid-fire conversations. Life in these villages follows rhythms set by the ocean and seasons. Monsoon season, from May to October, brings heavy rains and rough seas, forcing boats to stay ashore and villagers to focus on maintenance and repairs. The dry season, from November to April, offers calm seas and abundant fishing, with villages bustling with activity as everyone works to maximize this productive period. Myanmar's limited tourism infrastructure has inadvertently preserved the Dawei Peninsula's natural character. While the country gradually opens to international visitors, this remote region remains logistically challenging, to reach, with poor roads, limited accommodations, and few organized tours. But for adventurous travelers willing to deal with basic conditions and uncertain transportation, the peninsula offers something increasingly rare, genuine discovery. This is one of the last places in Southeast Asia where you can explore beaches, islands, and forests that look essentially the same as they did centuries ago, experiencing coastal paradise in its purest form. Map.voyage, Cebu, Philippines. While Cebu attracts millions of tourists to its capital city and famous beach resorts, the small coastal town of Map.voyage on the island's southwestern shore remains relatively undiscovered by mainstream tourism. This diving and snorkeling paradise offers some of the Philippines' most remarkable underwater experiences, with world-class sites accessible directly from shore or just minutes away by boat. Pescador Island, a short boat ride from Map's coast, features a dramatic underwater wall that drops 230 feet into the depths. This sheer wall is covered in coral and sponges, creating a vertical garden of extraordinary color and complexity. The wall hosts an incredible concentration of marine life, from tiny nudibranchs and seahorses hiding among coral branches to schools of jacks and tuna patrolling the blue water beyond the wall's edge. Barracuda often form swirling silver columns in the current, while sea turtles drift past with slow, graceful movements. The wall dive at Pescador is considered one of the Philippines' premier dive sites, attracting serious divers from around the world. But what makes it truly special is that it's just one of many excellent sites around Map. The entire coastline offers remarkable diving and snorkeling, making this destination incredibly accessible for both beginners and experienced divers. The town's main beach, Panagsama, provides direct access to one of the world's most impressive sardine runs. Just a few feet from shore, millions of sardines form massive schools that create swirling silver clouds in the water. Swimming or snorkeling into these schools is an extraordinary experience. You're suddenly surrounded by fish, millions of them, their movements perfectly coordinated as the entire mass shifts and turns in response to your presence or to predators hunting them. The sardine phenomenon has made Map famous among underwater photographers and videographers. The way light filters through the packed schools, creating patterns of silver and shadow, offers endless, creative possibilities. And the schools aren't static. They're constantly in motion, rising and falling in the water column, compressing and expanding, sometimes forming a ball around snorkelers, other times spreading out like a living curtain across the reef. These sardines attract predators, adding drama to every encounter. Tuna regularly blast through the schools, their speed and power shocking to witness up close. Jacks hunt more methodically, herding sardines into tight balls before striking. Occasionally, larger predators like sailfish appear, creating pandemonium among the sardines and exhilaration among human observers, lucky enough to witness these interactions. Beyond Pescador Island, Map's waters contain numerous other dive sites, each with its own character. Tongo Point offers wall diving with beautiful soft corals and frequent sea turtle sightings. Kasai Point features a sloping reef full of macro life. Nudibranchs, shrimp, crabs, and unusual fish that require careful observation. House Reef, accessible right from several resorts, offers excellent night diving, where the reef transforms as nocturnal creatures emerge from hiding. Night diving here reveals an entirely different underwater world. Octopuses emerge from their dens to hunt, their arms exploring every crevice in search of crabs and shrimp. Spanish dancers, large nudibranchs with frilly edges that make them look like flamenco dancers, undulate through the water. Bioluminescent plankton sparkles in your dive light's beam. And if you're extremely lucky, you might witness the spectacular spawning events where corals simultaneously release eggs and sperm in clouds of reproduction. The coral reefs around Map.voyage have recovered remarkably well from past damage, thanks to active conservation efforts. Local dive shops established marine sanctuaries where fishing is prohibited, allowing reef ecosystems to regenerate. Regular reef cleanups remove trash and fishing gear that might damage corals. And education programs teach both visitors and local communities about the importance of reef conservation. Beyond the coast, waterfalls cascade through the jungle interior. Kawasan Falls, located about 30 minutes from Map.voyage, features 3 tiers of cascading turquoise water surrounded by lush vegetation. The lowest tier forms a large swimming pool where visitors can dive from surrounding rocks or simply float in the refreshing water. The upper tiers require more effort to reach, but offer more seclusion and equally beautiful pools. Canyoneering adventures at Kawasan involve hiking, climbing, swimming, and jumping through jungle gorges, following the river upstream through narrow passages before jumping off cliffs into deep pools. It's an exhilarating adventure that combines natural beauty with adrenaline-pumping excitement, guided by experienced locals who know every rock, current, and jumping point along the route. The town itself maintains a laid-back atmosphere, despite offering world-class diving. There are no large resorts or international hotel chains, just locally owned guest houses and small dive resorts that contribute directly to the community economy. Panagsama Beach has a pleasant collection of restaurants and bars where divers gather after sunset to share stories, watch videos of the day's dives, and plan tomorrow's adventures. This grassroots tourism model ensures that income benefits local families rather than distant corporations. Many dive shops are owned and operated by families who've lived here for generations, bringing deep knowledge of local conditions and genuine hospitality to their interactions with guests. The guides aren't just employees doing jobs. They're sharing their home waters, introducing visitors to places they've known and loved since childhood. Marine conservation efforts continue to expand around Map.voyage. New marine protected areas are being established. Artificial reefs are being deployed to provide additional habitat, and coral restoration projects actively transplant coral fragments to degraded areas. Visitors can participate in some of these conservation activities, combining their vacation with meaningful contribution to protecting the underwater environment they came to enjoy. Koh Lipe, Thailand. Near Thailand's maritime border with Malaysia, roughly equidistant from both countries, lies a small island that somehow escaped the mass tourism boom that transformed other Thai islands into crowded resort destinations. Koh Lipe sits within Tarutao National Marine Park, a protected area that affords some degree of conservation to its surrounding reefs and waters, while still allowing sustainable tourism development. The island measures only about 1 square mile, small enough to walk around in a couple of hours, yet it contains remarkable diversity. 4 distinct beaches occupy different sides of the island, each offering different atmospheres, underwater environments, and perspectives on island life. Sunrise Beach, on the eastern shore, provides the best snorkeling directly from shore, with coral gardens beginning just yards from the sand. Morning light illuminates the shallow reef, making the colors particularly vivid. You can wade out a few feet and suddenly find yourself surrounded by parrotfish grazing on coral, butterfly fish darting among the branches, and damselfish defending their small territories with surprising aggression. For such tiny fish, Sunset Beach, as the name suggests, offers spectacular views of the sun dropping into the Andaman Sea. This side of the island has a more tranquil, less developed feeling, with smaller resorts and more space between properties. The beach itself is beautiful, and swimming here at dusk, with the water reflecting orange and pink light, provides memorable ends to island days. Pattaya Beach, the main beach and arrival point for boats from the mainland, has the most development and activity. Walking Street, Koh Lipe's main pedestrian thoroughfare, runs parallel to this beach, lined with restaurants, bars, shops, and tour agencies. Despite being the busiest area, it maintains a pleasant, manageable atmosphere without the chaos that mars some more developed Thai islands. Unlike many Thai islands, Koh Lipe has no roads and only a few motorized vehicles used for construction and trash removal. Walking Street lives up to its name, foot traffic only. This restriction on vehicles maintains a fiver. The peaceful island atmosphere, where the sounds of waves, conversation, and birds predominate over engine noise. Getting around means walking, which is perfectly feasible given the island's small size, or taking long-tail boats that ferry passengers between beaches. The native Chow Lei, sometimes called sea gypsies, originally inhabited Koh Lipe seasonally, moving between islands, according to fishing patterns and monsoon weather. While modernization has changed their lifestyle considerably, some traditions persist. Many Chow Lei descendants still operate long-tail boats, offer fishing trips, and run businesses catering to tourists while maintaining cultural connections to their maritime heritage. Their knowledge of local waters, weather patterns, and marine life remains unmatched. Surrounding waters contain exceptional coral diversity, with over 25% of the world's tropical fish species inhabiting these reefs. Scientists have documented hundreds of coral species here, creating underwater gardens of extraordinary color and complexity. Hard corals create the reef structure, their calcium carbonate skeletons building up over centuries into the intricate formations we see today. Soft corals add splashes of color, brilliant purples, deep reds, vibrant yellows, waving in the current like underwater flowers. Sea turtles regularly visit these reefs to feed on seagrass and algae. Green turtles and hawksbill turtles are most common, though other species appear occasionally. Swimming alongside these ancient mariners as they gracefully paddle through the water, occasionally surfacing to breathe with a quiet exhalation, creates profound connections to marine life. Their prehistoric appearance, these species have existed essentially unchanged for millions of years, reminds us that we're visitors in their world. Whale sharks, the world's largest fish, make seasonal appearances in waters around Koh Lipe. These gentle giants, which can grow over 40 feet long, filter feed on plankton, cruising through the water with their massive mouths open. Despite their enormous size, they're completely harmless to humans. and swimming alongside one while it feeds is among the most awe-inspiring wildlife encounters possible. The island's small size encourages exploration on foot. Walking from Sunrise Beach to Sunset Beach takes only about 15 minutes along a jungle path through the island's interior. The trail is steep in places, but offers glimpses of the island's land-based wildlife. Monitor lizards sunning themselves on rocks, hornbills calling from tree branches, and countless butterflies fluttering through patches of sunlight. These short walks between beaches allow visitors to sample different atmospheres and find their preferred spots. Some people discover they prefer the social energy of Pattaya Beach, while others gravitate toward the quieter shores. The ability to easily explore all of the island's offerings is one of Koh Lipe's great advantages. You're never locked into one location or forced into long journeys to experience different environments. National park regulations theoretically limit construction and protect the surrounding environment. In practice, development on Koh Lipe has occurred more rapidly than regulations intended, and conservation groups worry about the island's carrying capacity. However, compared to places like Koh Phi Phi or Phuket, development remains relatively modest, and most structures are small-scale, locally owned operations rather than large resort complexes. The best times to visit Koh Lipe are during the dry season, from November through April, when seas are calm, visibility is excellent, and rain is rare. During these months, the island buzzes with activity. Boats run on regular schedules, and all businesses are open. The monsoon season from May through October sees many businesses close, ferry services become irregular, and seas turn rough. However, some travelers specifically seek out low season for the dramatically reduced crowds and lower prices, accepting trade-offs in weather and services. Sadan Cave, Myanmar. In Myanmar's Shan state, not far from the town of Ha Pa An, Sadan Cave represents one of Southeast Asia's most remarkable natural tunnels. This massive limestone cave system extends over half a mile through a mountain, creating a passage that quite literally goes through the mountain from one side to the other, emerging in a hidden valley on the opposite face. The cave's entrance opens like a cathedral, with dimensions large enough to make humans feel tiny by comparison. The opening stands perhaps 100 feet high and equally wide, a yawning mouth in the limestone cliff that invites exploration while simultaneously inspiring a touch of trepidation about entering such a massive geological feature. Inside, the cave is adorned with hundreds of Buddha statues of various sizes, placed by devotees over the centuries. Some statues are ancient and weathered, their features softened by time. Others are newer, with bright gold leaf and fresh offerings of flowers and incense placed before them. These religious figures transform the cave from purely natural wonder into a sacred space, a place where geology and spirituality merge. Natural light filters through openings in the rock ceiling, creating dramatic lighting effects. Shafts of sunlight pierce the darkness, illuminating portions of the passage while leaving others in mystical shadow. Dust particles and moisture in the air become visible in these light beams, creating almost solid-looking pillars of illumination that shift and change as the sun moves across the sky outside. Walking through Sadan Cave becomes a journey through changing environments and atmospheres. The path begins in the busy town of Ha Pa An, passes through the mountain's dark interior, where your eyes gradually adjusts to the gloom, and emerges in a peaceful valley where rice paddies stretch toward distant karst peaks. It's a physical journey through geography and a metaphorical journey from the modern world into a more timeless, peaceful realm. The cave floor is relatively flat and easy to walk on, though flashlights or headlamps are essential for the darker sections. Local vendors near the entrance rent flashlights for a small fee if you arrive unprepared. The path through the cave is well established, worn smooth by countless feet over the centuries, and easy to follow even in low light. Inside the cave, the temperature drops noticeably, providing welcome relief from Myanmar's often oppressive heat. The air is cool and damp, carrying the mineral smell characteristic of limestone caves. Water drips from the ceiling in many places, creating small pools on the cave floor and contributing to the formation of stalactites and stalagmites that will continue growing long after we're gone. Stalactites hang from the ceiling like stone icicles, while stalagmites grow up from the floor. Where they meet, after thousands of years of growth, they form columns that appear to support the cave roof. The formations create natural sculptures in fantastic shapes, and local mythology assigns meanings to various formations, seeing divine figures and sacred animals in the rock shapes. Guides delight in pointing out formations that resemble elephants, crocodiles, dragons, and Buddha himself. The cave shelters large colonies of bats that roost in the darker recesses away from tourist traffic. Their presence is announced by the distinctive smell of bat guano and the sound of high-pitched chirping echoing from invisible roosting sites. At dusk, these bats emerge for their nightly feeding flights, streaming out of the cave. Entrance in a river of wings. Thousands of bats create aerial displays that can last for an hour or more. Their collective flight patterns mesmerizing to watch. At the far end of the cave, the passage opens suddenly to reveal a hidden valley. A serene lake spreads before you, surrounded by the characteristic karst peaks that define this region's geography. The water is still and clear, perfectly reflecting the surrounding landscape. Traditional long-tail boats ferry visitors across this lake, completing the journey through the mountain to villages on the other side. The boat ride across the lake provides time to absorb the extraordinary beauty of this hidden valley. Rice paddies stretch into the distance, divided by low earthen dikes and dotted with farmers working in traditional ways. Water buffalo wallow in muddy pools, keeping cool in the heat. Egrets and herons stalk through shallow water, hunting for fish and frogs. The entire scene feels timeless, like it could be from any century in the past, 1,000 years. Local communities in the valley regard the cave as sacred, incorporating it into religious and cultural practices that stretch back generations. Small shrines and offerings appear throughout the cave, and monks sometimes use the cave's quiet chambers for meditation, seeking spiritual enlightenment in the peaceful darkness. During important Buddhist festivals, the cave becomes a pilgrimage site with devotees walking through to make offerings and meditate in this holy space. Villages on both sides of the mountain benefit from tourism to Sadan Cave. Guides offer their services to visitors, sharing knowledge of the cave's geology, history, and spiritual significance. Small restaurants serve traditional Burmese food to hungry trekkers, and craftspeople sell locally made souvenirs, from simple bamboo items to more elaborate wood carvings. This grassroots tourism provides important income while allowing visitors to interact directly with local communities. The cave and surrounding area see relatively few international tourists compared to Myanmar's more famous sites like Bagan or Inla Lake. This means you can often explore Sadan Cave in relative solitude, perhaps encountering a few other visitors, but never dealing with crowds or feeling rushed. This peaceful atmosphere enhances the experience, allowing time for contemplation and appreciation of both the natural wonder and its cultural significance. Sambor Prai, Kuk, Cambodia. While Angkor Wat and the other temples of Angkor attract millions of visitors annually, Cambodia's earliest major temple complex remains largely unknown, even to many people who visit the country. Sambor Prai Kuk, dating from the 7th century, predates the famous Angkor temples by about 400 years and provides crucial insights into the pre-Angkorian Chenla civilization that laid foundations for the later Khmer Empire. The site contains over 100 temple structures scattered through several square miles of forest. Many temples remain half engulfed by massive tree roots and jungle vegetation. Their ancient stones locked in a slow-motion battle with nature. This integration of architecture and environment creates atmospheres even more mystical and evocative than Angkor's more famous and more extensively restored temples. The octagonal towers found here are unique to Sambor Prai Kuk, appearing nowhere else in Khmer architecture. These innovative structures demonstrate architectural experimentation from the Chenla period, showing how Khmer builders adapted Indian architectural influences to create distinctly Cambodian forms. The Khmer towers are covered in intricate stone carvings, some so weathered by centuries of exposure that the original images are barely discernible, others surprisingly well preserved, with clear details still visible. The forest setting means visitors often explore these temples in near solitude. Morning mist drifts between structures, caught by low sunlight to create an ethereal atmosphere. Bird calls echo through the ruins. Hornbills, kingfishers, barbets, their songs providing a natural soundtrack. Butterflies dance through patches of sun, while geckos scurry across ancient stones. The overall feeling is of temples being reclaimed by nature, slowly disappearing back into the earth from which they rose. This sense of discovery, of stumbling upon ancient ruins in the jungle, makes Sambor Prai Kuk feel more like exploration than tourism. Without the crowds that throng Angkor's main temples, without aggressive vendors and tour buses, you can approach these ruins on your own terms, taking time to appreciate architectural details, letting your imagination reconstruct how these temples appeared a millennium ago, and simply sitting in quiet contemplation of the passage of time. The temples are grouped into 3 main sectors, each originally serving different religious and royal functions. Prasat Sambor, the largest group, contains the octagonal towers that are the site's signature structures. Prasat Tao features a unique lion temple guarded by stone lions that, despite being carved 1,400 years ago, still convey impressions of power and majesty. Prasat Yepuan includes structures with elaborate false doors carved in stone, showing architectural features that would become standard in later Khmer temples. UNESCO recently designated Sambor Prai Kuk a World Heritage Site in 2017, recognizing both its historical significance and the exceptional quality of its architectural remains. This designation brings international attention, and funding for conservation work, though efforts proceed carefully to balance preservation with maintaining the site's atmospheric character. Too much restoration could destroy the haunting beauty of these jungle-covered ruins. So conservators work to stabilize structures without completely clearing vegetation or rebuilding walls. Local villages surrounding the site maintain traditional crafts, particularly silk weaving, using patterns, techniques passed through generations. Khmer silk is renowned for its quality, and watching villagers work traditional looms demonstrates skills refined over centuries. The patterns they weave often incorporate religious and cultural symbols, creating textiles that tell stories of Cambodian heritage. Many weavers are happy to explain their craft and sell directly to visitors, providing important income that doesn't depend on corporate tourism infrastructure. The site's remoteness has protected it from the worst looting that plagued Angkor during Cambodia's troubled recent history. While some statues and carved stones were stolen during the Khmer Rouge period and its chaotic aftermath, the sheer difficulty of reaching Sambor Prey Cook meant fewer thieves made the journey. As a result, more original carvings remain in situ here than at more accessible sites. Roads to Sambor Prey Cook have improved significantly in recent years, making visits easier while the site remains uncrowded. The nearest town, Kampong Tom, offers basic accommodations and serves as a base for exploring. Some visitors day trip from Siem Reap, though the several-hour drive each way makes this exhausting. Staying locally allows more time to explore the temples at a relaxed pace, perhaps visiting early morning when mist still clings to the ruins, or late afternoon when golden light filters through the forest canopy. Visiting Sambor Prey Cook offers something Angkor's famous temples can't: the genuine feeling of discovering lost ruins. Here, you can wander jungle paths that seem to lead nowhere until suddenly a stone temple appears through the vegetation. You can sit on ancient stones without being hurried along by crowds or touts. You can experience these magnificent structures as early Western explorers might have, as mysterious remnants of a powdered great civilization, slowly being reclaimed by the tropical forest. It's an experience that touches something deep in the human imagination, our fascination with lost worlds and ancient mysteries. As we conclude this incredible journey through Southeast Asia's hidden treasures, from Tumpak Sewu's thundering cascades to the mystical temples of Sambor Prey Cook, from Kondao's pristine beaches to Moalbole's underwater wonders, one thing becomes abundantly clear. These places represent something precious and increasingly rare in our modern world. They are windows into how Southeast Asia looked before mass tourism, before development, before the region became one of the world's most visited destinations. They show us beaches where you can walk alone, forests where wildlife thrives undisturbed, reefs where corals grow in pristine conditions, and traditional communities where life follows rhythms unchanged for generations. These are places where nature still dominates, where silence is common, and where genuine discovery remains possible. But these hidden treasures also face uncertain futures. As word spreads through social media and travel blogs, as infrastructure improves and access becomes easier, as more travelers seek authenticity and untouched beauty, pressure on these destinations will inevitably increase. The very act of sharing their beauty through videos like this one, through photographs on Instagram, through enthusiastic recommendations to friends, contributes to their discovery and potentially to changes that could diminish what makes them special. This creates a profound dilemma for travelers and content creators alike. Do we keep these places secret, protecting them through obscurity? Or do we share their beauty, trusting that awareness will inspire conservation and that tourism revenue will give local communities reason to protect their natural and cultural heritage? There's no perfect answer, but there are responsible approaches. If you visit these places, travel respectfully. Stay in locally owned accommodations rather than international chains. Hire local guides who benefit directly from tourism. Follow all conservation rules, even when they're inconvenient. Pack out everything you bring in. Respect wildlife by keeping distance and never feeding animals. Support marine conservation by choosing dive operators who follow sustainable practices. Learn about and respect local cultures and traditions. Most importantly, leave each place better than you found it. Pick up trash you see, even if it's not yours. Participate in conservation activities when possible. Donate to legitimate conservation organizations working to protect these areas. And share your experiences in ways that inspire others to travel responsibly, rather than just encouraging more visitors. The hidden treasures of Southeast Asia are not infinitely resilient. Coral reefs can be destroyed by irresponsible diving and snorkeling. Beaches can be ruined by development and pollution. Forest wildlife can be driven away by too many visitors. Traditional communities can lose their authentic character when tourism overwhelms local culture. But with care, respect, and conscious effort, these places can survive and even thrive through sustainable tourism that benefits both visitors and local communities. The choice is ours. We can treat these destinations as resources to be consumed, visiting in whatever ways are most convenient for us, regardless of impact. Or we can approach them with humility and gratitude, recognizing our privilege in experiencing such beauty and accepting responsibility for helping preserve it for future generations. As you plan your own adventures to these incredible destinations, remember that true travelers seek not just to see beautiful places, but to understand and protect them. The most meaningful journeys transform not just our photo collections, but our perspectives and our commitment to conservation. Southeast Asia's hidden treasures are calling. They're inviting you to witness their beauty, to experience their magic, to connect with their communities. But they're also asking for your respect, your care, and your help in ensuring they remain hidden treasures, not because they're secret, but because they're protected. Thank you for joining me on this extraordinary journey through the unreal hidden places of Southeast Asia. May your own travels be filled with discovery, respect, and that profound sense of wonder that comes from experiencing truly special places. Until our next adventure, keep exploring responsibly, keep seeking authenticity, and never stop appreciating the incredible natural and cultural treasures our world offers. Safe travels, everyone.